Welcome to The Explainer. So let's just get right into it today because we are tackling a critical topic that honestly keeps a lot of property owners up at night. We're talking about HMO compliance certificates for London landlords. If you own, manage, or let property anywhere in the capital, you know navigating that whole labyrinth of safety regulations can feel super overwhelming. But the good news? It really doesn't have to be. Over the course of this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what you need to stay compliant, keep your tenants totally safe, and protect your investment, all using a really highly structured visual approach.
Okay, let me ask you something right out of the gate, and it's a question that matters before literally almost every tenancy, renewal, inspection, or insurance review. Are your landlord certificates properly in order? And I don't mean just roughly in order. I don't mean somewhere buried in an old email inbox or just kind of assumed to be valid because the property was checked a few years ago. I mean current, accurate, and ready the absolute second a tenant, local authority, or insurer asks for them. If that question makes you wince even a little bit, don't worry, you are in the exact right place. Here is our quick roadmap to untangle this complex web. We'll cover the HMO compliance nightmare, introduce an all-in-one solution, map out essential HMO safety checks, walk through 4 steps to compliance, look at avoiding common landlord mistakes, and wrap up with the benefits of planned compliance.
All right, Section 1, the HMO compliance nightmare, the fragmented burden. Let's face the stressful reality of managing shared houses and bed-sits. So the reason landlord compliance gets so incredibly stressful is actually pretty simple. It is deeply, deeply fragmented. I mean, between a gas safety certificate, an EICR for your electrics, fire risk assessments, EPCs, fire alarm certificates, and emergency lighting, it's literally enough paperwork to wallpaper a studio flat. And HMOs create a much heavier burden because you've got multiple unrelated people sharing kitchens, corridors, escape routes, you name it. A landlord might be juggling one contractor for gas, a completely different company for electrics, and yet another for fire safety. Then the letting agent asks for everything at once. Missing just one of these certificates can delay a crucial operating license, trigger an enforcement request, or worse, put your tenants at risk. It's a logistical nightmare.
Let's move on to Section 2, the all-in-one solution for landlord certificates. Let's look at a much better way to handle this. Listen to this quote for a second. A certificate is more than a PDF. It is proof that you acted before the problem became a complaint, an enforcement issue, or a delayed tenancy. That hits the nail on the head, right? And this is exactly where we need to introduce Landlord Property Certificates. They are the definitive London-focused brand that brings all these scattered, annoying compliance services into one clear, reliable route. Landlord Property Certificates elevates compliance from being just this emergency, last-minute panic paperwork into a core part of proactive property management. You really shouldn't be bouncing between unrelated suppliers when a unified solution exists to prove you acted responsibly. Okay, Section 3, essential HMO safety checks, system by system. Let's break down exactly what requires checking in your property. This really just comes down to practical questions you have to ask yourself as a landlord. Got a boiler? Right, you need a gas safety certificate. Have fixed electrical wiring? Okay, that's your EICR. What about those communal corridors that are totally unique to HMOs? That requires a fire risk assessment. Providing appliances like a fridge or a microwave, you're going to need PAT testing for those. By breaking it down system by system like this, you can identify exactly which certificates Landlord Property Certificates can provide for you in one clean sweep. You don't need to be a legal compliance expert. You just need to know what's inside your own property. Taking that a step further, there are 5 crucial elements that make HMO complaints uniquely demanding. You've got shared facilities, the constant, never-ending need for licensing evidence, those communal escape routes we just talked about, the absolute necessity for multi-service booking, and the need for portfolio reminders so you never miss a renewal. This right here is exactly why having a single supplier like Landlord Property Certificates coordinate these inspections is so vital. They don't just solve today's deadline. They manage the complexity of your shared spaces and actually prevent your next missed renewal.
Section 4, 4 steps to compliance, a simple process. How do we practically solve these challenges?
Just imagine a landlord converting a massive London house into an HMO. They need documents urgently before the tenants move in. Well, they use an incredibly straightforward 4-step process with Landlord Property Certificates. Step 1, contact. You just reach out via phone, email, or WhatsApp with your property details. Step 2, confirm. You get a clear quote and an appointment time. Step 3, complete. A qualified engineer shows up and conducts the inspection on the right systems. And Step 4, receive. You get the usable, fully compliant certificate or report. That is literally it. Landlord Property Certificates turns scattered, panicked questions into a working appointment and a complete property file. It completely replaces uncertainty with a solid plan.
Which brings us to Section 5, avoiding common landlord mistakes. Don't be reactive. Let's look at the major pitfalls of treating safety as an afterthought.
Okay, let's dive into this list because I see these all the time. Here are the top 5 mistakes you absolutely need to avoid. Number 1, waiting until move-in day to even think about safety checks. No way. Number 2, assuming a previous certificate is still valid without actually checking the expiry date. Number 3, ignoring property layout changes. Like, you can't just transition a standard single-let into an HMO and assume the old compliance rules still apply. Number 4, treating an unsatisfactory report as just an annoying piece of paperwork rather than a vital safety action plan. And 5, saving these critical documents in scattered, random email threads. Guys, these mistakes lead to severely delayed tenancies, massive fines, and most importantly, actual safety risks. This perfectly contrasts 2 distinct mindsets I see out there. First, you've got the reactive landlord. They're searching in a panic, always waiting for tenant complaints or angry council demands before they actually do anything. It is such an incredibly stressful way to operate. Then you have the professional landlord. They're enjoying the calm certainty of planned compliance by using landlord property certificates. Because remember, the absolute easiest compliance problem to solve is the one you handle before the deadline. A professional landlord simply does not wait for an emergency to discover what paperwork is missing.
Finally, Section 6, benefits of planned compliance, tangible advantages. Let's summarize the real-world perks of this unified approach.
Planned compliance benefits literally everyone involved in the rental process. For landlords, using landlord property certificates drastically reduces your administrative burden. Having all of those services under one roof is a total game changer. For agents, it means much cleaner tenancy files and practically eliminating those frantic last-minute phone calls. And most importantly, for tenants, it provides assured safety, knowing the property has been checked by actual certified professionals. Plus, it just effortlessly supports any legal or insurance conversations because your documents are always ready to go.
So, if you are ready to get your compliance properly in order, here is your exact actionable checklist. When you contact Landlord Property Certificates for your HMO Compliance bundle, this is exactly what you need to send them. Ready? Your full property address and London postcode. The required service and your specific property type. Make sure you definitely tell them it's an HMO. The access contact details for the property, your preferred appointment time, and your absolute hard deadline. And finally, any existing or previous reports you might have laying around. Sending the specific information right off the bat allows them to match the exact right engineer to your property immediately. Ultimately, Landlord Property Certificates is here to help London landlords stay safe, fully documented, and ready to let. It is absolutely time to leave that last-minute panic behind. If you need HMO compliance certificates in London, you need to book with Landlord Property Certificates today. Get their details in your property file before the next deadline turns into a full-blown emergency. And I want to leave you with this final kind of provocative thought to chew on. Are you actively managing your property like a professional business, or are you just sitting around crossing your fingers, waiting for the next compliance disaster to strike? The choice, and honestly the peace of mind, is entirely up to you. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.